What's up, friends? Welcome back to the Bogey Ball Society. Hey, thanks for being patient. We had a little, I got sick. Hazel went on vacation. We had a little bit of a downtime, but we are back, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. Scott Fawcett is back. If you don't know Scott, he is the creator of Decade Golf. He is one of the most entertaining interviews you can possibly ask for. We had a goal of 45 minutes. We talked for almost an hour and a half. I can't recommend it enough. It is genuinely fun. It's funny. We laughed a ton. He's just an awesome hang. Hang out, buckle up, enjoy it. We'll see you on the other side.
Well, welcome everyone back to another uplifting episode of the Bogey Ball Society.
It's that time of year where death is right around the corner. Our guest today,
right before the credits.
Yeah. Well, Scott, we do just tend to launch into it, so I guess there we go. But, I was going to start by asking you about the state of your game and your health. So maybe we should.
I think we just got all the clips we need. Yeah.
I haven't had a surgery in over 15 months, so that's pretty much.
Hey.
Yeah.
There you go.
And really, the thing that got me going, I got to tell you, Scott, and I don't want to blow sunshine up your ass right to start here, but you're a pretty fun follow on Instagram. And my favorite over the last week was I never expected to see you walking out of Second Swing with a new set of clubs. What is that about?
I don't know. I missed
For
that
a good
one.
player, I'm the dumbest with equipment that has ever walked the planet. I've never been a guy like one of my first sets of clubs was Tommy Armour 845s, which are just the most classic looking
Sure.
non-blade blades. I mean, the whole time I was playing professional, I played a combination of MP14s and 29s, I think it was.
Okay. Wow.
And just ever since then, I've basically just kind of always had something similar. So I've been playing the ZX7s from Shrixon for 7 years, I guess.
That's
Just
what
a
I'm in.
beautiful club. What's funny is I
They're
did a
beautiful.
club fitting at Club Champion, and you do this like pre-fitting questionnaire. Like
Yep.
again, I don't take anything for free. I do not take anything for free, so that way I don't owe anyone anything ever. So I go over there, I pay full fare at Club Champion, paid $4,200 or something for this set of clubs with the fitting and everything. And I said, what do you want to look on? Like Ping, Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway. Like those are the only names that come to my mind. I get there and the guy's like, you got to try these Shrixon ZX7s first. And I'm like, I mean, obviously you're making a bigger commission out of them. And he shows them to me. I'm like, that's pretty good looking. And I hit him about 3 times. I'm like, okay, let's go to the driver. Like
Yeah.
iron is an iron is an iron. Like that's as good as you're going to get. It looks great
Yeah.
to me. I don't need to hit 6 different. I'd rather save my swing for the driver. But once I have a set of clubs, I mean, I basically don't change them until like I grow out of them, which the MP29s and 14s, I don't play much golf in the winter. So when I miss at Q school, the last time in 2001, I didn't touch my clubs for 6 months. And I go out,
Wow.
I go out to hit some balls, and I literally looked at the 9-iron and I was like, nope. I drove straight, I drove straight to another used store here in town. I can't think what it's called. Oh, Club Finders Golf. And I just walked in and I said, what do you give me for these? And I just went and picked up another set. I was like, I want anything with just a stiff shaft. Like I'm going to dumb this down for a little bit. And I got some sort of a TaylorMade. I couldn't even tell you what it was. Some sort of TaylorMade, a big cavity back thing, and played those. I mean, for probably 6 years, I guess, maybe even longer than that.
wow.
Maybe a lot longer than that. They were just straight
Okay.
off the rack at from Club Finders Golf, and then got fit for these things. And I've just played them for 7 years now. And finally, I've been saying this forever, and again, I'm just an idiot with equipment. My irons are terrible. They have been forever. I've just blamed it on my left knee surgery, my elbow surgery, like all this stuff to where I'm just hanging on my right side, which is also in my mind why I drive it well.
Mhm.
And so finally I was like, with Trotty, the big TaylorMade Titleist guy, I was DMing him and I'm like, this is what I'm currently playing. I'm 52. My swing speed's gone from here to here. I was fit for these 7 years ago when I was a lot faster and
Yeah.
fewer surgeries.
Sure.
And he's like, this is kind of what you need to be moving towards. So I went to Second Swing Golf, just purely walking in there looking for the shaft first.
Huh.
And I had no clue how many sets of clubs those people have.
Mhm.
They're absolutely insane. They had 15 different sets of basically brand new ZX7s.
Yep.
So I got
Yeah.
to find basically the exact shaft. He told me I was in a 120 Modus X.
Oh,
And he
nice.
was like, find something 105 or 110. And so they had a 110 steel fiber.
Nice.
Okay.
And so I just took those. I don't have a clue what the loft or lie or anything is, but I quite literally am hitting them just solid. I went from just basically skanking these other clubs. These are a quarter of an inch longer and a lighter, different shaft, and I'm just hitting it out of the middle of the face. Like if you go look at my gin scores for the last 3 months, it's just 74s nonstop. I'm a plus 1.5. The first round I played with those, I shot 70. Second round I shot 64, and I shot 71 2 days ago with 3 doubles that were literally. Our golf course is kind of like it needs some grass. It's running a little fast.
Yeah.
And yes, I have complained to the GM and head pro already about it. I'm not a complainer, but I did always be like, guys, we got to do a little something here. But I had 3 great shots that wound up in the water. I make doubles. I mean, literally, I've played basically 3 great rounds of golf
Wow.
since getting these things, and I'm like, I'm trying not to overthink it.
I was about to say I have something in common with Scott Fawcett now that, I've used the steel fiber 110s myself, but I don't score those scores. So I guess I don't really have anything in common with you after all.
You always shoot at least 74, Brian.
And that's true.
You have that in common.
That is very, very common. Yes. I had 2 74s last year.
The steel fibers are to take it easy on your joints. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, just a little bit lighter, a little bit softer.
I've been doing that for years already too. Yeah.
Yeah. The X120s, again, I literally don't. I know it's 120 grams, and I just don't know anything about equipment. Supposedly, even though I've bought the 110s that are stiff, some people in the comments have said those are actually stiffer. But then the people like Trotty and some other people are like, yes, but the load profile is different and whatever that means. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm hitting the middle of the face. So
That's all you need to know.
As long as I don't hit it fat, which is a problem for me, the rest of the shots are, and then even the fat ones, I hit one fat. What hole was it on the other day? I hit it fat, and just a perfect green turf mark was right in the dead center. I was like,
they get through
the middle.
They get through the turf really well. That's my favorite things about the Srixons. That V-Sol is awesome.
Well, Scott, we want to thank you for coming back on here. Matt and I got a chance to meet you in the flesh at the PGA show, so thanks for spending time with us there.
Yeah,
and I want to give you props for your booth at the PGA show.
Nicest
a little
booth we saw.
a little gaudy, the laser light show and the bikini girls and the whole setup that you had there. Yeah.
It could have worked out. I mean, I literally had intentionally been telling people I'm going to have the worst booth in the history of the PGA show because it's going to be. I bought a banner for like $325 and we're just going to hang it on the back of the thing, and then it's like the carnival thing. Come up and let me guess your weight or something. Just me sitting there with a bunch of people, and then when we showed up, and there was literally just trash buckets.
Yeah,
because I didn't fill out the registration questionnaire correctly, so I didn't actually register. I showed them. They're kind of giving me grief at the front desk. They're like, "Oh, you didn't fill out the registration." I'm like, "I paid the $8,200. We start with that.
that check cleared."
I intended on coming, quite obviously, and I'm here. So can we move this along?
It was hilarious to me because I was over at the Squares booth talking to a friend of the show, the Squares owner, Bob Winskowitz. Go to Squares Golf and enter Bogey Ball Society for to save on Squares Golf. Anyway, Scott, and I'm looking over Bob's shoulder, and there's you walking next to the convention center staff carrying some chairs up to your booth, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
They got them working.
Yeah,
They literally basically told me, they're like, we can't get you any chairs or a table or anything. It's like, again, I paid for those, so I'm going to go find them somewhere, and I'm just going to take them, which is basically what I did. I literally went and found a couple chairs.
Well, it's great because every time we had to use the bathroom, we saw you because you were right outside a bathroom. And it sounds like I'm making a bit, but I swear it made it really easy to find, and you were always like six deep with people waiting to talk to you. So it certainly didn't affect your popularity. And I think if anything, it's probably smart being near a bathroom at a place like that.
Yeah, in all seriousness, you were pressing the flesh 8 to 5 the whole time. It was impressive.
It was impressive. Yeah.
I hemmed and hawed long enough that the guy he called me one day. He's like, we ran out of spaces. I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, it wasn't meant to be. Because I've done it before, and I didn't really feel like it had that much value. And so I was kind of like on the fence and whatever, and then decided to do it. And the guy's like, nah, we've already sold them out. And then he calls me like a week later. He's like, we've actually opened up a row along the back wall if you want to do it, but I'm going to tell you, like, it's right by the bathroom. I was like, I'll take it. I mean, I was like, and next year, like, they already, like, you can pre-sign up the following year. I took the
Oh.
same booth. They're like, you can move more to the center. I was like, everyone has to walk past me. Like, this is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
literal best booth in the entire, for a small company. Like, TaylorMade's going to need a little more room, but for a small company like me, this is the exact booth I would choose out of the entire place.
Well, TaylorMade is actually they're actually in the bathroom next year, so it's brought to you by TaylorMade, right? So
I wouldn't doubt that.
Well, TaylorMade checked it and clear. They weren't even there.
Yeah.
they weren't even there. That's right.
Were
So,
they not?
No, there was the one kind of obvious absentee OEM. Yeah, Titleist had an enormous booth, but TaylorMade was a no-show.
I'm pretty sure a lot of OEMs a couple years ago had just kind of punted it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that necessary anymore. I mean, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that they feel like they have to do. I would love to know what the total spend is on some of those booths.
Oh, it's got to be massive.
Ungodly.
Just from sheer size alone. I mean, the square footage is incredible. Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, I think it's like literally 6x10. It's like a smaller than a jail cell. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was 8,200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Callaway's was, I mean, not 600 by
300 by
800, but
300.
it was it was enormous. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a full showroom with a full hitting area in the back. So
Any golf nerd listening, it's something you have to go to. If you're a true golf nerd, you have to go see it once.
Yes.
I would not have said that I agreed but now that I've been there, I'm like, it was unlike anything I've ever seen. It was incredible.
It's the biggest convention in the world.
Is
Really?
it?
I mean,
Is that true?
out of every industry, it's the only one that fills the entire convention center.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally the biggest convention in the world.
That's a lot of polos.
And one pair of jeans. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And some
thank you.
pickleball.
And some pickleball. That's right.
But Scott, I do mean it though. I mean, that was you were on your feet answering questions solid for 2 straight days. And you've come back on this podcast. You once used to host a podcast. You've answered a lot of questions. You've been interviewed plenty of times. I am curious. When's the last time you got in an original, I hadn't thought about that, stop and make you think kind of question? You know what I mean?
I won't be able to come up with one off the top of my head, but every once in a while they do happen. And this is where I feel like I love listening to Sam Harris say the same thing over and over and over
Yeah.
again. And I've definitely had people tell me they always seek out every podcast. And I'm like, just kind of say the same thing. They're like, we just love hearing it because usually there's a different tweak to it here or there,
Yeah.
or a news story based on something else you saw, just whatever it is. Hey, I'll segue that. The lady that just won the ANWA, the Augusta National Women's Amateur yesterday. And she's a Decade girl. At the end of the interview, she promotes Decade, promotes Alex, my COO, but she's talking about just like, on 15 yesterday, like we were in a bad spot, like we knew, like, let's just not get out of here with worse than bogey. Here's a par 5, like we're in a bad spot, let's don't screw this up. And there's just I just tried to stay immune to, I knew the birdies would come, and just like she was just basically narrating the Decade videos back. And so it is fun to have like a new story like that when you go on on another podcast. 'Cause
Sure. Yeah.
something like that always happens, and it's just fun to.
Especially
Hey,
when
it's
it's
fun
somebody
to talk
winning
golf and
something
nerd out with
small
a
like
couple
the
dudes.
Augusta National Women's. Like,
What's that?
what? Like, I mean, that's like a big deal tournament. So to have the winner touting your product is pretty awesome and indicative of how well it works. I mean, that's really awesome.
And again, that's also as much as saying Alex, my new CEO, like this guy, he is an absolute machine, and he loves women's golf. It's really interesting. He just absolutely loves it. He works directly with 7 of the top 10 college women's programs, and like he couldn't really care less about the PGA Tour. He just loves women's golf. It's super interesting to me.
This is Alex, your COO?
Yeah, Alex
Okay.
Long. What the funniest part, like, so Decade, there was a poker training website back in the day called Card Runners, and he actually owned it. And it was like the biggest poker training site during the poker boom. I was a member of it. And when it came time that like the NCAA, I couldn't give the seminar anymore, and I decided to build an app, I would not have thought to just voice over PowerPoints and everything if it weren't for being a member of that poker training website. And I was at I did a seminar in Ohio like 6 years ago. It actually came up my membership day email the other day. It was like 6 years ago, a couple days ago. And Alex came to it. And he introduced himself. He's like, I owned and ran Card Runners. I was like, oh my God, I remember. He's like, oh, I know. I've seen your hand histories. You really suck. That's fair. So we just kept in touch and everything. And a couple years ago, when Chris Zambri, the old USC coach, he was running my college sales. When the USGA created a national team, they tapped him to be the head coach. So he left to do that. And Alex literally said to me, he was like, you got anyone that's taking that role? And I'm like, I hope. I mean, I'm assuming that's why you're calling.
Wow.
And he's amazing. Best worker I've ever seen. He's just an awesome guy.
That's awesome.
Matt, Bryan, and I, we've all been using Decade for a year now since your last appearance, and there's some. I'm going to probably revisit some questions that you've been asked, and maybe I can throw out a new gem or two that you haven't heard before. So, but the one that I really want to get after, and I think it might be one of your more controversial. That's even the wrong term, but one of the least most poorly understood is the notion of leaving that people have to learn to leave some putts short.
Gee, right? I had no idea that was going to be it.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, Scott, never up, never in. If you don't hit the ball hard enough, it has no chance to go in the hole. So how can you demystify, or because I don't think you're suggesting to people that the ball will go in if you don't hit it hard enough. That's not the point.
No, and people don't understand, like, you have a range of possible outcomes on a putt, distance control wise. So what Pell said, you need to hit it 17 inches past the hole. I'm like, I mean, I guess, honestly, I don't even know if I agree with that based on how we now view capture size and lip outs and everything else. I don't even know that I agree with 17 inches. I personally think about 2 inches past is probably perfect speed. And they're like, well, what if it loses it might help. Like, just because it's losing its speed and moves out of the hole, one time that it's a little high and it loses speed and moves in, like, that was like, I think making the hole as big as possible is the correct thing to do. So this idea that from 20 feet, I've got a video in the app from Aaron Wise when he's the reigning PGA Tour Rookie of the Year. Guy's really, really, really good at golf. And I've just got him trying to lag a 20-footer on top of basically a ball mark. And I'm moving the balls off to the side as he would putt them. And so I created a shot pattern of both depth and width. And it was about 10 inches wide and about 50 inches deep. And so if you think about any putt as it starts breaking, if you hit it too soft, it starts breaking sooner. If you hit it too hard, it starts breaking later. So your shot pattern, even given identical start lines and reads, winds up getting wider because of your speed control. And anyone who's listening, go out there tomorrow and put a ball mark down on a dead straight 20-foot putt and hit a putt and go move it off to the side and hit a putt and go move it off the side, trying to recreate that shot pattern. And it will be at least 3 to 6 times deeper in distance control than wide. And so now Aaron on that 20-footer, he's got about a 4-foot deep shot pattern. And so never up, never in circles back to, if you don't leave any putt short, I've now centered the average putt 24 inches past the hole,
right,
which makes the hole about 60+% smaller. And I've also got 4-footers coming back, and the 4-footer coming back, unless it hit the dead center of the hole, it wasn't going in any more than the putt that came up 2 inches short, except for the 2 inches short putt is a tap in, and the 4-footer coming back is probably 80% at best. It's 88% on the PGA Tour. It's probably 80% at best for the vast majority of our listeners. If you're like a 12 handicap or higher, that's your 50-50 range.
Yeah.
And so you have to leave putts short. And it's funny, some guy commented in my post I put up about this last week. He's like, amateurs leave more putts short than long. I'm like, I don't know. I own a data company. And and from my eyeballs in my Wolf game, every time they've got 12 feet and the next one's good, that putt is going 6 feet by. I feel like I'm costing myself thousands of dollars by coming on these podcasts. If any of my Wolf friends are listening, because they're like, Scott really does seem to turn and walk away when we've got a 12-footer and the next one's good. Because I'm like, this one's not going in. You are sending it past the hole with way too much speed. And it happens, I mean, literally every single time. And it's
because you can be aggressive with that one. You could be aggressive with it. Yeah.
I just caught that. I didn't hear the language on it, an Instagram video tonight. I think some guy left a birdie putt 1 or 2 inches short on the Corn Ferry Tour to force a playoff. I feel like that's what was going on from the gist of what I was seeing.
Okay.
And, that would be the never up, never in. Oh, you got to get to the hole. I'm like, I don't disagree. It sucks when you come up short. Like, but again, just because you don't leave any short, you're now just going to make the hole smaller. Like, that has to be part of your range of outcomes in order to, I mean, again, this is what's funny is I can definitely not argue. Like, you definitely 3-putt less by leaving putts short, quite obviously.
Sure.
I can definitely easily argue that your make rate will go up by leaving 25% of your putt short. And again, I'm speaking specifically from 20 feet there. From 10 feet, like, this is where other people are like, "Oh, you're gonna leave an 8-footer short?" I'm like, "No, you're listening to a soundbite. From inside 10 feet, you probably shouldn't leave many short. From 10 to 15 feet, not too many, but probably 10%. But Brad Faxon left 16% of his putts, 1 in 6 short from 16 to 20 feet.
Yeah.
That's not a very long putt, and he's leaving 1 in 6 short, and when you get to 32 feet, and the reason I chose 32 feet, that's the inflection point of where they average 2 putts to hole out on tour, he leaves 43% of his putts short, which optimal would be 50. So, like, even the best putter in history wasn't quite optimizing,
Man.
his 2-putt rates, and it's just it's so straightforward in the math, it's funny, and it's like people just don't understand that just because you pulled one thing off, getting it to the hole, doesn't mean it had a chance to get there. And the only analogy it can ever come up with is if you hit on 18 because the dealer's showing a face card, and so you're like, I got to hit. There's a 23% chance you won't bust, and the whole table's going to go crazy. Oh my God, you did it! And there's still a 30% chance you won't win the hand. That's an important footnote.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
If you hit on 18 and
there's a 23% chance you won't go bust and a 30% chance you still won't win.
You still won't win the hand.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like everyone thinks when you hit on 18, you're like, and you successfully pull it off. Well, hey, I won. No, we got another hurdle because they still have a hand.
Live to play another day.
You might have pulled an ace or a 2, which is going to happen relatively often.
Yeah.
Or 3, because the guy might actually have blackjack. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
So I played a couple weeks ago, and I had a string of you shot 74. I had a string of 86s that was like comical in to everybody else, but not to me. It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter how well I putted or how well I chipped. It was terrible off the tee, or if it was good off the tee, it was terrible somewhere else, and I just couldn't seem to change that. And I just went back to basics and was like, I'm just gonna take away the 3-putts. I'm gonna not that I was actively trying to 3-putt, obviously, but I had several greens where I was 60 feet away and trying to lag them up, and I was getting really frustrated every time that happened. And I just started to look back at my 3-putts. My only 3-putts in those rounds were from, I think, outside 50 feet. I had one that was a nasty. It was the greenskeeper woke up and chose violence and put it on a hill, and I was 14 feet, and I had to throw it up like 3 feet up, and it came down and it went out to 8 feet, and I lipped out on the back. But other than that, really wasn't mad at most of them. But just looking at the data and just being like, oh, I'm actually putting okay. Like I'm not actually killing myself on putts. The next 2 rounds I had, it was like I was totally freed up, and it was like an 81 and an 82 or something. So it's still not great. But no 3-putts and no doubles on both of those rounds. And I just started to laugh because I was like, you can count on me for 3 doubles a round. And it's amazing how often that happens. And when just being able to just focus on like, yeah, I'm gonna 2-putt. If I get up there, I'm not trying to make necessarily that 40-foot par putt or 35-foot par putt. I'm just trying to get out of there with bogey. What was that?
Or 12-foot par putt.
Yeah. Well, yes, exactly. But it is incredible how freeing that thought process is, that like bogey is not your enemy. And I'm not good enough. 8.3. Like I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be mad at bogey. Not really.
Not really, not even.
Right. But I have convinced myself that 78 is always on the cards.
Mm-hmm.
But it is amazing the mental shift that if you can just take that thing off of like, hey man, bogeys are going to happen, but so will birdies and so will pars and so will all the other stuff. How do you? Sorry, go ahead.
Or you say how do you what? Because I'm sure I'll meander around.
How do you offload that expectation? Because I feel like that is the part for me that I get in my own way, because I'm fully expecting pars and birdies, and then I get thrown by bogeys, which leads to doubles and triples. So like, how do you teach somebody to go shot by shot?
The real answer is, I mean, you've got to learn meditation. You've got to learn how to recognize thoughts as thoughts. And again, I feel like I
Mm.
always get super woo wooey, especially with as bullshitty as we started this podcast off to just switch gears. Be like, well, now let's get serious. But it is true. I mean, at the end of the day, like you accomplish that by being able to recognize I'm thinking in this manner. First of all, I used to
Yeah.
think that meditation when I was younger was all about having no thoughts. And now I've realized it's not about
Mm.
that. It's just recognizing the ruminating and recurring thought patterns that spiral on you. And that's what a guy like Tiger's just like, I mean, maybe he's never gotten negative in his life, but I'm getting negative here. I'm getting attached to the result. I mean, again, personally, like I say, I shot 64 last week, and I
Mhm.
definitely was like, when I turned it 29, I was just like, what is going on? Because I have not been playing well at all.
Wow.
And then I hit it close on 10, make birdie, and I'm like, I mean, we're off to the races. At number 12 at my home course is this really short par 4 that's got the tiniest little finger over here. It's 324 to the front, and then this is a bunker that wraps all the way around this little peninsula. I mean, it's literally about 9 yards wide, and the pin is just stuck right down in it, and it's downwind 25. And I hit a great drive, and I just roll up there about 10 yards short of the green, so I'm chipping basically across onto that finger. So, like, think of Florida
Okay.
down there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
basically
Yeah.
chipping across onto it. I'm totally dead. This shot has 0 chance of working out.
Yeah.
If I'm in a tournament, it would be interesting to see if I'd have been like, "Huh, I'm totally screwed here. I'm just putting it on the green and trying to two-putt it from 40 feet," because that was basically the only way I was gonna make par,
Wow.
unless I just hit the absolute perfect nip spinner,
Yeah.
whatever. But we're in a wolf game, and so, obviously, I'm not gonna do that. My partner would be pissed off at me. I can't just protect my score here. So I go for it, and luckily, it didn't plug in the bunker when it came up short, because normally the ones when you're trying that shot, they just are coming in
Yep.
perpendicular to
Yeah.
the bunker and just plug.
Yeah.
Luckily, it didn't. I wind up, I just make bogey, but I was so mad because I was like, I was 8 under, and all of a sudden it's like, dude, wait a
Mhm.
second, just get out of that.
Yeah.
Now we move forward to 16, and I'm in a spot where from 200 yards, now coming back into that wind, a very similar funky little green, and I've
Yeah.
got a 3 iron where I'm like, I don't think there's anything good that can come for this, because I'm gonna have to hit it so low that even if it
Yeah.
lands on the green, it's gonna go off the
It's gonna
water
skip
into
all
the
the way
right,
out.
just the way this green sits, or if I
Yeah.
hit it left in the bunkers, there's no chance I'm getting this thing up and down. Like, I couldn't come up with a good outcome, but also I'm like, well, I'm 200 yards, and now at this point, we're playing 100 150 wolf. My partner's gonna murder me if I lay up, and so I go for it, and I hit a great shot, but I'm in the left bunker and basically, in a really
Yeah.
bad spot. I do get lucky and get it up and down, but my thought process was I couldn't decide if I was trying to protect the score or if I was really wanting to just play the optimal scoring route, which I do believe would have been laying up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I would make some sort of a crazy eagle or something like that, but we all start thinking about, I'm X to par, I'm this many under, this many over. You're doing good or bad, and you're starting to get attached to your outcome. So the way you don't get attached to outcome is, first of all, being able to recognize those thoughts. I was like, what was my point there? My point was, I'm at least recognizing this stupid stuff going on in my head
Okay.
and trying to still sift through, well, what's relevant information? What is still relevant to this shot? And when I was playing professionally in my 20s, I wasn't even aware that that was even going on. I would just be so going 1,000 miles an hour with all these iterations, and then it'd just be like, shit, I don't know, give me a club and just hit it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
mean, literally in a professional golf tournament, that would have been my outcome. Just, I don't know, just
Just give
at
me something.
least
I'm just gonna whack it.
recognizing you're
Yeah.
thinking that way. And again, with putting specifically, man, it's just so variance laden. I mean, it is why, correct, the winner every week on the tour is typically the best putter of the best ball strikers,
Yeah.
but it's
Mm.
rarely the best putter of the worst ball strikers.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
never. I mean,
Right.
Sure.
it's
Right.
kind of an understood, yeah, you probably need that good on the week that you win. Like Gary Woodland, we won 2 weeks ago. He gained 8.3 shots over the course of the round. He's a great putter. I think he's plus +0.4 on the season per round. So his natural round is plus, term is plus 1.6,
Wow.
but he gains 8.3. And he would come off and tell us, be like, dude, I was just seeing the line this week. That
Yeah.
64, I was plus 6.3 putting on that single day. I mean, it was completely insane. And I would
Wow.
100% tell you, dude, I was just seeing the line. I was reading the greens a new way. I was reading them from over the ball. So, like, I would just go in there because I'm
Huh.
a bad green reader, and I realized, on a putting green, I'm usually around it. I can just kind of feel it. And so I
Yeah.
started off there. What do I feel? Then I would confirm kind of from behind it. And if I could see
Oh,
it and confirm it,
interesting.
I would now I'm all in. But if I
Mhm.
Mm.
couldn't see and confirm it, I just went with what I saw from over the ball. So I felt like I was doing
Wow.
something different.
Yeah.
And it just made everything. But you know what? Also, for being honest, one of the putts was clearly low over the hole. I was already walking and it caught something and kicked back up so much so that my opponent that
There you
then
go.
made his 15-footer, like it hit something too. He's like, I don't know which one of us hit a worse putt there for it to go in. I was like, I'll take a tie. I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
yeah, I mean, so you just
Mm.
realize that putting is just so largely variance, and you've just got to accept that. I mean, that's what half the comments that are inane in any of these Instagram posts about putting are always I wanna walk in there with this positive mindset. I'm gonna hold this putt. I'm gonna do this.
Mhm.
I'm like the
Right.
one that I was just responding to, this guy's like, "I like to visualize putts rolling in and just going right in the center." I'm like, "Do you think I'm advocating visualizing them not going in?"
But I do. I actually think that's where a lot of this confusion comes from. Is it sounds like you're
Like, stop
saying
that.
you have to try to miss putts short, as opposed to you have to be willing
You
to
just
accept
will.
the result.
Yeah.
That if it comes up short, it's okay. And I think this is I do think
That's
this is
certainly
where
where people
people
get lost.
lose their
Right.
minds because
Yeah.
it sounds like they're saying, "You're telling me to miss short." No, I'm not. No, I'm not telling you to miss
Yeah.
it. I'm saying you're going to miss it and you got to be
You
okay with it.
will miss it short.
It goes
Do you have-
back
I mean,
to
it's
the shotgun versus sniper rifle conversation
Yeah.
that you have, and you have to be okay with some of that shotgun pattern being short of the hole.
Do you ever reply by saying, "Jane, you ignorant slut"?
Well done. All right, and I know we can up it a little bit on this podcast.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't realize
right.
it was on foreplay. No, but I mean, that's just on the PGA Tour specifically, where pins are tucked and difficult. The vast majority of your great shots were not your best shots.
Mhm.
The
Mm.
vast majority of your good shots should not be close to the hole. And so we
That's
really are just kind of waiting out this variance within your shot pattern. And that's,
yeah.
I've told this story a million times on a million podcasts, but when Zalatoris hit a hole in one in the US Open in 2020, Sean Martin, the PGA Tour staff writer, tweeted, Zalatoris just hit a hole in one, and the only thing Fawcett's going to want to talk about is that it wasn't his target. I was like, well, it wasn't. And he's still on the course. So I sent Will a text. I was like, hey, when you can, what was your target? And he just replied with seven right, LOL. So I retweeted Sean with a
Fantastic.
screen capture of Will saying, yeah, it wasn't my target. It's okay to say that.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
he actually fired in. He's like, the other one was 5 right. So he hit a hole in one. And on that same day, he hit one that hit the stick and just sat on the lip. Like
I
it should
remember
have gone
that.
in. He
That's
almost
right.
had 2 hole in ones where his targets were a total of 12 yards away from the hole. Like that's obviously pure
Wow.
luck. And it's
Yeah.
obviously why he finished 6th in the golf tournament. I mean,
Mhm.
his standard finish is not 6th in a major. I mean, he's had
Yeah.
a lot of great finishes, but like something had to go well. And there's a couple of great instances right there where his ball happened to
Mm.
finish, just happened to be where the hole was cut.
That's incredible.
So,
It
Scott,
really is.
kind of a nuanced question concerning putting, but I've been wanting to ask you this for so again, when you were formerly hosting her a co-host on a podcast, you guys had Sasha McKenzie on. We had him on as well, and on both podcasts, we spent some time talking about heads up putting. As much of a premium as you put on speed control, you have to have dabbled in heads up putting, right? I mean, what's your verdict or your thoughts on it?
I don't have a problem with it personally. I mean, again, Sasha's, if not he's one of the smartest guys in the
Yeah.
game. I mean, and then, like, that's an echelon people try to put me in. I'm like, I'm not even close to Sasha and the other ping guys. Like, they're so much smarter than me. It's ridiculous. I've got a high golf IQ,
Sure.
but a guy like Sasha, who's like, all of our data says this is true, and he's not just a salesman. He's not selling a heads-up putting app.
Right.
So I really believe that what he says, and the times I've tried it, I can definitely see it.
Mhm.
I personally am just an every putt's a straight putter. So if I've got a 20-footer breaking 3 cups, I'm on a straight line 2, 3 cups right. Like
Yeah.
that's when I'm walking in. That's what I'm looking at. And the hole's really kind of secondary to what I'm doing. And so when I've done heads up, I've never been able to think of like, am I looking at my spot or my speed
Oh.
spot or the
Mm.
hole? Like I couldn't really figure out where to look.
Interesting.
But I believe that if you were just born into that,
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it's probably better. I mean, I look at this one guy, shout out Jerry Schellenberg, son plays golf at Iowa in case anyone wants to hammer him too. Jerry's got the yips with his putter. It's so brutal to watch. It's unbelievable. He chips one-handed. And
Oh my
I always
gosh.
be like, Jerry, dude, look at the hole or close your eyes or something. It
Yeah.
can't be worse. And that's where I'm just like, because it's that you're looking at like impact's coming and you're a locomotive pulls a train because pulling is a more stable motion than pushing.
Yeah.
And so
Huh.
in putting, I believe a lot of yips come from when you're turning into the putt, everything's like freaking out. And so it's starting to contract. So you'll see people with the yips a lot of times have putter recoil. Whereas if you think
Yeah.
of Tiger, it's just boom, boom.
It's like they're
Like the
anticipating
best putters
impact.
don't have this recoil after impact. And I believe that a lot of yips, and again, I'm probably way over my skis in physics. Right now, Sasha's like, Jesus Christ, dude, shut up. But I do know locomotive pulls instead of pushes for this reason.
There
But
you go.
when I think of a muscle coming into impact and the energy it takes to be recoiling, to me, you lose your, and again, stability is definitely the wrong words, but you're certainly losing something. And, I mean, I've witnessed up close a lot of people yip some pretty short putts, and they almost always have some semblance of a recoil. So,
Yeah. We
I mean,
had
Sasha, I definitely think that if you putted heads up, I don't know how it could be worse for somebody who's struggling with putting.
I adopted it after we had him on, and my entire last season was heads up, and I'm putting better. Now I've made some equipment changes, but I'm putting better because of it. We had John Sinclair on here too, another big brain, and he was like, Sasha was absolutely right. What John Sinclair commented on, he says he kind of had concerns about using it on the professional level with a moving gallery around the green and things of that nature. So I could see that
That's right.
negative, but
So
But-
where
but
do
I'm a
you
big
aim
fan.
Hayes on a like 20-foot left to right breaker type deal?
well, I started just kind of like drawing the line to the cup
your mind? Okay.
and keeping an eye on the cup. But when Sasha,
I hope he was literally drawing a line. That would make me-
but when Sasha describes it,
He's chalking it out. Give me a second.
you guys gonna let me finish here? You're being very
No,
rude.
probably
Yeah.
not.
But when Sasha describes it, he talks about if you draw a laser line from the putter face. And I eventually went to that, so I'm not even looking at the cup anymore. I'm following that laser line from the putter face, and so
Okay.
sometimes my target is 3 feet right of the cup, and I'm making those.
So then, for distance, are you looking at the cup, and
When
then,
you-
or are you
when
like
you
you
actually-
letting your brain do the math, or are you trying to say, oh, I'm going to hit this a little bit short or a little bit long based on the arc or whatever?
No. So I'm paying attention. Like, so if it's a downhiller, I'm studying the slope of that, but my target is the distance of the cup. I'm not picking a closer target or a farther target,
okay.
depending on the slope.
But rather than target, what are you actually looking at when you hit the putt?
A
Or are you
spot
just
on
kind
the
of
green.
gazing?
A spot on the green.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is indicative of your speed or your line or both?
Yes, both. Yeah.
All four.
I mean, that was a way that I cleaned up Zalatoris' downhill putting at the Texas A&M super fast. Greens were fast. He's obviously not the greatest putter on the planet. It was even worse when he was 17. And he's had like a 12-footer. And I was like, dude, I don't even want you to look to the hole on this one. I want you to look at this spot right here at 5 feet. Because the human eyes they're offset to triangulate for distance, so you can have 3D depth perception. If you only had one eye, I'm sure the human brain would figure it out, but you would not see in 3D as well as we do and have depth perception and spatial awareness as much as we do. And so when your eyes, it's only like 1%. It's not that big of a deal. We basically see 15 feet, whether it's 1% downhill or 1% uphill. Like your eyes aren't just perceiving that much of a difference. And so when you look at 15 feet, your body just wants to think 15-foot stroke. And so downhill, you still kind of take the same length stroke and then you decel into it. And then uphill, you kind of take the same length stroke and then jab at it. But if you can use what Will and I called this intermediate target, and so on like an 8-foot downhill slick putt, I might give him a spot that's just 3 or 4 feet in front of his ball. And like, I want you to putt like you're putting to this aggressively, and then just trust it'll trundle out to the hole. And it's just
Oh,
one of these
interesting.
deals that
Yeah.
for us, it worked out well. It was just, I mean, immediately. Again, Will's obviously a super talented kid, but
Right.
it was just an immediate fix to his speed control. And like me personally, I have trouble getting a putt uphill to the hole. And so
Yeah.
I look like if I've got a 12-foot relatively uphill putt, I might look 3 feet past the hole for my last look. And I'm
Okay.
thinking speed control to there, and then it'll probably just drip to the front edge for me most of the time. And so there are a number of games you can play to
Yeah.
trick your brain like
That's
that.
That's
similar
so
to
cool.
how I have to think about distance control. Is if it's downhill, pick something. If I look at the hole, I'm gonna shoot it by.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to hear it because that's actually not that anybody ever taught me anything. I just if it's uphill, I think well, you got to hit it further than that because it's going uphill.
And you usually
And then
hit
if
it for
it's
harder though, as opposed to just taking a longer stroke.
yeah, well, yeah, for sure. But it is amazing how often I'm still short, even on one because it's like my brain. If I don't look at that last look, like you said, like if that last look isn't past the hole, I revert immediately back to the hole and then I leave it, a foot short or something. And it's like, God, never
I
up,
mean,
never in.
the best putters by far have the best speed control. Like, it's not even close.
Mm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just don't have a top 10 putter whose speed control isn't immaculate. I mean, it just
Yeah.
literally does not happen. That's where I can so confidently argue with a guy like Brad Faxon when I haven't even looked at his data and he's telling me this is what he did, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
you're just wrong. I don't have the time right now to prove to you wrong. If you'll give me 24 hours, I gladly will. But you're gonna need to bear with me. And he's just like, Brad just being Brad, he's like, "So you think you're gonna tell me how to punt?" I'm like, "Apparently, because you're wrong with what you're saying you did. There's no chance that's right." And again, people like again, I like to say that as arrogantly, as jokingly as possible because it's also like there's some truth in that. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding, Brad. You did not do that, and it's amazing though how much certain players think they did certain things, and the data now can just quite easily disprove. It'd be like if how Nicholas says I'd start at the middle of the green and cut it or draw it to the flag, but it never overcut or overdrew. And I'm like, oh, so you never missed a green in regulation because your data would show other than that. I mean, it's just like that's
Yeah.
not what you did. That's what you were trying to do, but it is not what you did.
Mhm.
Right.
Sorry, Jack.
Well, I gotta
Well, so-
think.
He's a big listener. It's okay. He'll take it with a grain
huge
of salt.
listener. Yeah. Getting back, I know Matt, you mentioned about kind of feeling free with your putting, and doing Decade this year, I really started to feel free off the tee. It made my decision making a lot easier, especially thinking about the rough isn't a problem. It's
Which way do I want to shape
boundaries.
it this time?
No, yeah, because that's really what I worry about. I'm like, but I used to worry about, if I aim up the right side of the fairway, if it draws a little bit, that's fine. But now I'm just, how wide is it? Can I get my driver to fit in there? And that has been really freeing to the point where club selection's easy and you just swing
Always
and go.
driver.
Almost
Yeah.
always driver for me, which
Well, you
is
hit
great.
it. You're hitting it great though. I mean, that
Yeah,
certainly helps too, right?
I did make an equipment change too, which definitely helps. But the last round I played of the year was on a much tighter tree-lined fall course in New England, and it was the first time I was really like, oh no, I can't take driver here. It's not wide enough, and if I had to drop back a club, it was fine. But I played at, I don't know, 14 different courses in my 15 rounds of the year last year, and using Decade made me feel comfortable even on a course that I had never seen before, which was just a great experience all around.
I find practice rounds like so toxic now because I really can prepare for a golf tournament from the satellites far better than I can from playing the course. I mean, if I play the course blind, if you said
Wow.
you can play the course
Wait, sorry.
blind without,
Just say that one more time.
if you told me like, so I qualified for the U.S. Mid-Am last year, and if you said you have two choices, you can use satellites to prepare for the tournament, or you can play the course, I would take satellites by 1,000 to 1 fold. I mean, it
Wow.
wouldn't even
Okay.
be close to consideration. I mean, so like when I'm playing a practice round, like once I've played a hole or two and I know kind of how firm and fast the greens are and how fast the fairways are, like the
Yeah.
rest of it is so boringly slow and toxic to me. It's unbelievable. Watching everybody like hit 10 chips from all around the green, like, oh
Yeah.
man, make sure and note this one broke left. Like, really? You think you're gonna have that chip to that hole? I
Yeah.
mean, it's just so silly. I mean,
Well,
yeah, the satellites just make it so obvious where you're aiming, where you're going. There's a couple holes out there that were blind, and it's just like I can stand up on the tee box, and I know that power pole that's 1,000 yards out there in the distance is the dead center of this blind fairway or whatever it is.
Right.
And when you get there, you're just like, wow, there's the power pole that I could see from the satellites, and you can just start playing these things so
Wow.
easily blind. It's unbelievable. And that's where the GCA architecture crowd hates me so much because it's like all of your tricks are just kind of done it again. You have to build something. That's where they
Yeah.
think that I'm like saying, all your stuff doesn't work. No, it works, and you have to build something. You can't just have a giant sheet of grass out there like a
Right.
cookie sheet.
Mhm.
So you got to build something, but also if you know what you're doing, this is why so many kids come out on tour now and are just immediately competitive, is they know how to prepare for these golf courses
That they've never seen.
better
Yeah.
than even the veteran that's been there, and every single time that they go play Congaree, Trinity Forest, like, every time they go play a new course, I tell all of my 1st, 2nd, 3rd year tour players, I'm like, "This is your week," because the old guys are gonna come in, they're gonna do the practice rounds the way they always have, they're not gonna know the course, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get out there and you're gonna and one of the guys actually even found a shot at Congaree that I didn't even see where he played it up another fairway, and he's like, "I didn't wanna tell you beforehand because I didn't want you to tell everyone else." It's like, "Hey, hats off, man." Like, I'm
That's
impressed.
awesome.
That is a perfect way to go about it. Like, I wouldn't have told me either. And just there's just certain things you can see out there from the
Wow.
satellites that you would never see
Y
in
you
real
know,
time. And honestly, to be pr to just put a ribbon on that,
yeah.
we've built an AI engine right now that is actually like you can just plug it in and it will tell you based on your dispersion, carry, all this stuff, like where your optimal line is. And number 3 at my home course is this dogleg left par 5 that goes around a creek that you can't get to the other side of. But our other course is on the other side, and number 16 is right here. And I was asking the guy to run it for me while I was on the tee box, 'cause I was always like, "I wanna see if it's the edge of this tree, the edge of that tree is what my line is." And he runs it, and he sends me a screenshot, and he's like, "Dude, he's saying you played up this other fairway." And I was like and I look at him like, "That's actually what you should do, you just can't get to it." So, like, this engine was like, I'm just seeing fairways and greens and grass and everything, and it's
Yeah.
not OB,
Wow.
it's just a
Mhm.
water hazard, but you need to crawl through a creek to get to it, but it was 100% dead on accurate. It was a dead straight shot to the green that would probably knock 50 yards off the hole,
Oh, wow.
and since obviously we know we can't do that, I would never even look for it, but, like,
Sure.
Yeah.
this AI engine just was like, "Yeah, that's ChatGPT where it says to hit it."
Man.
That's
You know, this
awesome.
is kind of
Fantastic.
in about a was it 4 or 5 weeks, guys? We
We're
have a
rounding
golf
up
trip
there.
coming, Scott. We're headed to Sand Valley, and I've been thinking about this for a while because if you go to most resort courses right now, there's some sort of, like, hey, the experience is best enjoyed with a caddy. We recommend you take a caddy. And
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to some conversations with resort caddies when they're like, hey, you better take a 3-wood off the tee here. And I'm like,
Scott
You know?
Fawcett says I should hit driver here.
Exactly.
That's right. Also, I've mapped this out in advance, and I know
Yeah.
exactly where my landing
I've
zone is.
already
Like, they're just gonna-
downloaded all of the books.
Well, I'm curious though. Like, is decade a dirty word among the resort caddy crowd, to your knowledge, or I mean, because it's
I mean, no, because if it is, they don't know what it is. I mean, they should
Yeah.
all be using it. I've done for a few different high-end private clubs here in town and a couple other
Okay.
places like caddy training type stuff.
Yeah.
And it is always funny to me. I've gone out and played at PGA Frisco here a few times on a course where you have to have
Oh,
a
nice.
caddy, and I don't bother to be like, I don't know if you know who I am, but like, and
Yeah.
just listening to what they say to me, and it's just so it's really interesting. I shot a video with Cordy Walker down in at Old Memorial in Tampa a couple
Yep.
months ago that he
Okay.
just released. And the caddies were definitely like they kinda knew what they were signing up for with the production and everything.
Yeah.
And they were like, "I'm not saying a word today. I just we can only look wrong." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Well said."
Nice, nice.
I've never played a course with a caddy, but one of the things I'm most looking forward to is, I mean, it's 5 courses we've never played before,
hmm
and
It'll be fun. They do a good job. I
It's
mean,
gonna be.
they do a
I'm
great
not worried.
job.
I'm not worried about that because it's mostly just getting to play with these dummies that I'm really excited
Whoa,
about. We got
whoa.
a big. We got.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
a term of
That'll be
endearment.
cool.
But yeah, it's. I mean,
and
honestly,
looking
like
back at
just
so
getting out
looking
and
back at
having
my
fun, and then being able to compare the rounds
Mhm.
later. That's what I'm
Yeah.
most excited about.
Looking back at my professional career, it is interesting. When I was playing in my 20s, I mainly played like the Hooters Tour, where you're carrying your own bag, or the Golden Bear Tour, which is where it rains every day in Jupiter, Florida, so everyone in this cart so you can get back in. But the
Right.
few I probably played in, I don't know, 6 or 7 Corn Fair events that I Monday qualified for by.com way back in the day, and 1 US Open. And so I probably used a caddy 7 or 8 times uh,
Yeah.
in my 20s, and I hated it every single time. And I always thought at the time it's because hey, maybe you've noticed I'm a little antisocial. I'm a little quirky,
Well,
and I just
candid.
thought that I'm just not good at making small talk, and I just was always so uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And looking back at it, again, I wish I could really dig into my brain, but I really think that I thought that I had like imposter syndrome, that these guys who caddy on tour for real tour players were gonna watch me and be like, "What is this guy doing? You have
Right.
no chance." What's 'cause I mean, like, here's what I'm gonna try to do, without knowing it, I've got a shotgun,
Yeah, right.
as everyone does. 'Cause really the only time that I ever went out and watched some guy just play a practice round or a round where I could just literally get in there, like, kind of with them in their headspace was David Duval. It was 98 or 99. You can go look at it. Whenever he won Houston, he won by, like, 12 shots or something.
Mm.
I
Oh.
missed the Monday qualifier by 1. I went out on Tuesday because Duval was my man crush at the time, and I went out to just go watch him for 9 holes of a practice round, and it was 9 straight holes of his caddy giving him a club and like, "At that and do this, at that and this." And it was just every single shot came off exactly like the caddy
Wow.
told him to. And I drove home my 3.5 hour drive from the Woodlands to Dallas. I was just so beat down because I'm like, I can't compete with that. Like,
Wow.
I am totally kidding myself here. And like, I won on the Hooters tour. Like, I was solid.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, he's number 1 in the world. He's about to win this tournament by a bunch. That's not who you're competing with. That is Scotty Scheffler
Yeah.
right now. Like, that's not, you don't have to beat him to be a tour player. And it's just wild how our expectations get so out of whack in this game. And you just have a shotgun blast, man. And that's what course management is
Yeah.
just managing that thing around the golf course.
All right. So speaking of managing things around the golf course, we're days away from Augusta. Once again, we had you on here last year, and you gave us some awesome stuff. If you're prepping for Augusta, and you're one of the guys on the younger side, let's say you've not been there 5, 6, 8, 12 times. You've been there once, maybe, or this is your first year. How much prep are you actually allowed to do? I know that they open up the course that you can come and get practice rounds in there. If you had a guy that was if it's his first year or second year, what would you be would you be doing the same thing? You'd be looking at satellites, you'd be looking at this stuff, would you have them, because it's such sort of like hallowed ground, would you have them on the ground trying to like get over the like, hey man, just get used to it, this is where you're playing? Like, I
To be
always wonder
perfectly
about
honest,
that.
the whole folklore of first timers don't win here and this, that, and the other, they only used to show the last 6 holes. I mean, like in my lifetime, they only used to show the last 6 holes of the tournament that you didn't
Okay.
see any, or I guess they probably started at 12, and then they
Oh,
expanded
wow.
to the back 9, and then they went to, I mean, that would be an interesting Google actually, is when
That's a
did the
really
broadcast start
interesting
showing
point.
more? It was
Wow.
in the 90s for sure when they finally showed, if not later, when they finally showed the whole course.
And just
So
because
they
it's
nobody
like
really knew
the
the entire
televised
course.
hours, is it they just didn't have the time block to
They didn't
show
have
the whole
27 different peacocks
Yeah.
showing the fucking
Yeah.
tournament. I mean, like, they
It's
they
really
weren't
true.
show
It's
they just didn't
ridiculous.
show
Yeah.
it all. They had
Yeah.
3
Wow.
hours on the 4
Saturday and
days,
Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah.
right, or
and
whatever it was.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and that's what they showed, and so there wasn't pre-covered, like, it
Mm.
didn't exist,
Wow.
and it was,
Now
it
they have
certainly,
every angle.
yeah, I mean, it certainly in Augusta National, but I bet it was probably a budgeting and
Yeah,
equipment
yeah,
deal
yeah.
too, where they're like, "We can't show all 18." I
Yeah.
highly doubt they used to show all 18 holes on a tour event. I mean, that would be really interesting to go look at the history of broadcasting
Yeah.
of like Byron Nelson. How much did they
Yeah.
used to
When
show?
did
'Cause now
did this click over? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and that's the whole deal with Augusta. I'm assuming you guys have never played it. The first time I
Oh,
played it,
that hurt.
I mean, I'm
the
wearing a
first time
flower
I
shirt.
played it,
Don't I look
That hurt.
like I've played?
there's my puzzle of me on the screen. I made it, turned it into a puzzle by Buddy the Elf.
That's
Nice.
fantastic.
Amazing.
But it was like I'd played it 1,000 times. It was literally like I'd played the course 1,000 times. So you've
Wow.
got to be here to know this putt does that. Like, no, you don't. These kids have been watching it since they were 3.
Yeah.
They know the
Mhm.
golf
Yeah.
course every bit. And to be perfectly honest, I think that I never thought of it this way. I bet you a Justin Thomas coming out at 25, whatever his first Masters was, might have known the course better than Mickelson, because Justin Thomas has watched 1,000 different putts on it, and
Mhm.
Mickelson's seen
Wow.
his.
His, yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
So
sure.
he's played the Masters 15 times. He's seen that back left pin on
That's
16,
interesting.
15
Right.
times.
Mhm.
Like, I've seen it, and Justin's like, I've seen every putt from every angle a billion
Yeah.
times. I mean, if there's
Yeah.
any one tournament, again, that's the one tournament that, I mean, they go to it every single year. It's not on a
Always the
rotation.
same course. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Those
you
young
do
guys
see-
have seen it 1,000 times.
And you
Yeah.
are seeing first timers compete well earlier now. Like Will Zalatoris, Spieth in 14 was on the
Finau
first in the
had a
leaderboard
great-
for a while.
Scheffler, I mean, just
Yeah.
over the last 10 plus years, I don't think that. I mean, first time is hard just because it's the Masters, and we're all going to
Sure,
yeah.
overblow that in our head for sure. Or you could be like Will and understand meditation, mindfulness, staying present, and everything. Like that was the most proud Papa moment I've ever had was when he made the turn from 9 going to the back 9. I think he
It was
was 2 back or
2019, right?
20. I don't know. Let me look at my flag. 2021.
Oh, 21. Okay.
Actually, you know what's funny about this is hold on. This right here is this terrible flag from the U.S. Amateur or the Texas Amateur, and this one, what he said in it is, I don't know if you can read it or not, but it says,
Has my handwriting gotten
"Has
any
my
better?
handwriting better?"
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
that's awesome.
I mean, it's I mean, that was literally because I was like, your handwriting is so bad. You signed the other one, and then that's the next thing. The funny part about it, I mean, that was literally 2014.
Wow.
And I gave him grief about it in 2014, and he held on to it for 7 years until the next flag he ever signed for me. And that's what he led with, was my handwriting any better?
That's
And
awesome.
sadly, I had to say, no, it's not.
Yeah, not that much. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Man, that's so funny. But I mean, again, what I was going with that is when he made the turn, the announcers are like, it's like this guy's a seasoned veteran. He wasn't even a member of a tour, any tour. Corn Ferry, PGA, he was a non-member
still
of
the AM,
anything.
right?
Yeah, he just got into, I can't remember if it was world ranking or because it was that crazy COVID year where you could play in a ton of events and get all these points. Again, I can't remember exactly why I got into it, but the announcers were like, we just can't believe this non-member is doing this. And I was like, I can, because this is what he's been working towards, not just in a physical game sense, but in a mental sense, so that when he starts to be, oh my God, I'm about to win the Masters. Like, whoa, helpful, not helpful. Let's put that in the not helpful bucket, and let's just push that on out the window. And again, it's like, it's a silly, now it's a super woo-woo-y saying, but like when you see a little thought that comes in, be like, oh, we're just going to take you and set you on a little raft and push you down the river. It's like, we don't need that thought. I mean, I'll diatribe on this for one more second. I never understood when Sam Harris in the middle of a meditation, one of his meditations is to listen for a sound. And then it finally resonated with me one time, because when he says listen for a sound, so like right now, you guys all have on headphones, so you didn't hear anything. The listeners might have heard something, a dog bark or whatever, but the dog barks, and you don't keep thinking dog bark, dog bark, dog bark, dog bark, dog bark. It pops in your head and it pops right out. The thoughts that come into your head, you don't know where they're coming from. I mean, like right now, I just thought of purple pajamas. I have no clue where that specifically came from. I thought, think of something random that popped.
Probably
in my head.
Matt's shirt.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's entirely possible.
But any thought that pops in your head, you have the power to either keep thinking it or be like, not helpful, and just let it go. And I'm not acting like I'm good at this at all. But the people who are peak performers are the greats at that. That's what they're the greatest at. The rest of it, physical skills, that's not that hard. But the ability to remain present and just focusing on the next shot, no matter what's coming into your head, it's that momentary loss of presence where you're like, I'm about to win the Masters. And then you just whip some putter, terrible tee shot, and whatever. You weren't going through the same process you were going through the first 72 holes, 71 holes, whatever.
Watching,
Scott,
I got to.
Because I'm sorry, but speaking of the Sam Harrison meditation app, at some points in the, obviously, I've embraced it. I got the lifetime membership of Waking Up, actually. But in those one of his meditations, he talks about focus on the thought itself, and then he asks you the question, where did it go? And I'm sitting there like trying to meditate, and I'm like, I don't know where it went. I'm so confused.
Your brain is so bizarre, man. I mean, again, it's like the super woo, the most woo-woo way of phrasing is you're not the thinker of your thoughts.
Exactly.
And you just aren't. You're not. You don't know. Like the easiest example is, think of a movie from the 1980s. Whatever came in your mind, Terminator,
Great.
whatever. Why did Terminator come in your mind and not some other movie? Like you can't explain how that one came in your mind. But the other thing is, some movie you've never even heard of. Obviously, I can't come with an example of that because I don't know what I haven't heard of. But I wasn't even capable of thinking that thought because I didn't even know it existed. So this is where like books can resonate with people so much different. Like, you can read a book when you're 28 and you just think it's the dumbest book ever, and when you read it when you're 42, it's the greatest book you've ever read.
Yep.
That's a very similar thought process too. You just aren't the thinker of your thoughts, and so if you're not, it's similar to if you wouldn't take advice from someone. I was like, I know I'm saying this wrong. If you wouldn't take advice from someone, you can't worry about their criticism.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. That's great.
I mean, like, Matt, you seem like a really nice guy, but if you criticized me, I'd be like, okay. I don't know if I might. You seem like a nice
Super.
guy. I might take advice from you, depending on what it is. It wouldn't be shirts because I'm a plain
Yeah.
color guy.
This is brand new, and I wore it specifically because we were going to talk about something about the Masters. It doesn't even have azaleas on it. They're roses. I don't
Yeah.
care. I wore it anyway.
You know, it'd be amazing if you're actually like me and only wear solid colors. The only thing I have is solid color shirts, and you're like, I'm going to step out of my box right now.
Yeah, right. I'm like, damn it.
Even from the guest.
Of all the days.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. No, I that idea that you're not the thinker of your own thoughts it's a really one of those things where I'm like, oh, wait, so then where did that come from? Because I thought Adventures in Babysitting. Why did
And-
that movie? The movie
And
that I
I
saw
would not be able to think of that because I didn't know it existed.
That's right. But it makes me it just like that's an incredible. You said movies in the
Yeah.
80s, and my brain went someplace that I haven't thought about in 35 years. So
Mm.
I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
guess
incredible
on-
when you hear a song on the radio that you haven't heard in 30
know
years, but you're like,
every word.
I like this back in the day, and you still know the words to it. Like,
Mm.
where is that in our head?
I don't
I
know.
mean, this is where people get really off bases. They're like, oh, so then I just don't have to do anything. Life just unfolds. Like, no, you still have to sift through. You have to work through what you do know,
Yeah.
but how you actually arrive at your final decision or final thought, you have no clue how you actually did that.
Well, and
Well,
this,
you just literally have no clue how you did that.
Yeah.
and Scott, I've always enjoyed I think it's a quote from you that in trying to explain Tiger Woods' success. I mean, so going back to Augusta, right? 2019, the Masters, when balls are falling in the water left and right, and Tiger hits the green, 2 putts, and gets out of there. There will probably never be the product of a Buddhist mother and a Green Beret father, right, to produce an
I wonder if
athlete
that's
like
where
that.
you're going.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
It
fantastic.
is. I mean, people,
That's great.
what you're saying, there's people have asked me for, like, when are we going to get the next Tiger? I'm like, when we get the next Vietnam. It sounds weird, but Earl Woods, a black Green Beret, is not meeting a Thai Buddhist woman on Tinder or Bumble
Sure.
or wherever they would meet. Like,
Right.
that's not happening in
Yeah.
this day and age. And since wars are fought differently, like,
Yeah.
those two people just don't run across each other's paths every day.
Yeah.
And it is an amazing combination. Like, it's probably the optimal combination of two human beings, obviously, to create what they did. Now that's got this other set of baggage that goes
Sure.
along with it.
Yeah.
That's not, that's got it's up and down too. It's just it's a really weird thing to. It's similar to you not to think of your thoughts, but I mean, like, everyone, you're just such a product of where you were born and what time you were born. My mom and her husband, who was shot in Vietnam a couple times, came over today, and he always he likes
In the
talking.
war, or just like randomly?
What's that?
In the war, or just like he just
Yeah,
was
no,
in
he was
Vietnam and
shot.
just got shot?
He's the Purple Heart from Vietnam. He
Okay.
got shot up a couple times. But he likes talking about it. Like, I never really asked him about it very much the first 20 years I knew him, because
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, I'm sure that's not a great memory.
Yeah.
Right.
But my mom is like, he likes talking about the Purple Heart and stuff like that. So I kind of teed him up today and just let him go for 20 minutes. And I can tell my
Mm.
mom's like, oh, all giddy, happy, but it's amazing listening to stories of these people. Like, it really,
Yeah.
it's a different mindset of a human being that's been through that.
Mm.
Again, like an Earl Woods was through, I don't know what his exact job was, but I'm assuming he saw something over there.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
to then come home and take that and in a bride from Thailand that's, I mean, deep into
Yeah.
Buddhist and the meditation, like, you're going to create something. It's going to have a lot of pluses and a lot of minuses.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing when
The-
Tiger, when he first got caught in 2009 and that whole, in the first scandal of his life,
Yeah.
the first question Tom Rinaldi asked him, which was the first interview he gave, is on the back porch at Lake Nona. And Rinaldi just says, what happened? He's like, I lost sight of my core principles as a human being. I lost sight of my Buddhist values. I stopped my meditation practice. Like, those are the first things he said
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
when, like, what happened? And it's just like, there you go. I mean, that's it. He just completely lost sight of who he is.
Yeah.
And this recent stuff, man, I just feel bad for the guy. I mean, he's
Yeah.
he's so beat up, and he's in a spot now where unless he somehow gets off, because it sounds, I mean, again, I think the body cam footage, like, I get it, it doesn't look wasted, but I could totally see where the officer should be like, he was impaired. I mean, the stuff he's
Sure.
doing in the car is to me the biggest thing, where he's kind of got the hiccups and he's kind of rolling around like he
Mhm.
looks like he's struggling,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But I feel bad for him because it's like, yes, he probably has an addiction issue, but most importantly, he really has a pain issue.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds
I
like
mean,
a
he's
Brett Favre
got
thing all over again.
he's got a real problem. And people ask me because I went down doing hammer consulting for the Bay Club and the TGL deal. So I went down
Mm.
when they played Jupiter, which was the day that Tom Kim hit the hole in one. It was
Yeah.
it was one of the coolest
Ah,
experiences of my life to be there for that. But I was watching Tiger walk, and he is struggling on that right leg. And I mean, people are like, "Is he going to play the Masters?" Like, there's no chance he can play 72 holes walking on that leg. Like,
there-
there's no chance of that happening.
yeah.
He'll try, just like he did a couple years ago, and then wound up withdrawing. But there's just no way.
We
And
we
so
were
he's
we
got
were
himself
talking
in
about that as well. Just the physical toll that those hills would take
Mhm.
on anybody, let alone a body that's been through what he's been through, is
it's a
I don't
tough
know,
walk.
man.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I
tough.
just think it's sad because here's a guy that really has, obviously for his own egocentric purposes, put his body on the line,
Yeah.
but also it was a great show for all of us. And I would say the rest
Yeah.
of that guy's life, it might be rewarding because hopefully he'll get more invested in his charities and stuff like that that he can really make a difference in. But
Yeah.
he's going to be in pain for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be a good 40 years, whatever he's got left on this planet
Yeah.
is not going to be physically very, very much fun, especially if he winds up having to do drug test, which I assume whatever his probation is going to be is going
Part
to
of it.
require
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So now it's like manage what you've got going on without being able to do anything. It's a bad
Yeah.
spot. I really feel bad for the guy.
Hey, I just want just real quick. I want to circle back to one thing we were just talking about, but then also I want to wrap up with the Masters. But we were talking about the ability to move a thought off on a raft and just have it go. The Valero just finished. JJ Spawn was 8 strokes back, starting the 10th hole on his back 9 on Saturday, which technically was this morning, but regardless. In 27 holes, he was 9 under par, some ridiculous number. He ends up winning by 1. But specifically, he goes out and bogeys 15, and then hits a 5-iron to 7 feet on 16, which almost nobody else was able to get up to that on that shelf. So it's a perfect 5-iron. And then he eagles 17. He drives the green and makes that putt.
How far?
308 yards or something like
How
that.
far was the
300.
putt?
12 maybe. 12. I think it was
That's-
12.
I
It
didn't
kicked up,
watch a single shot, so that's cool.
kicked up, and then he had a nice little uphill right to left putt. McIntyre made the same putt like an hour later, which was
For
kind of
eagle?
cool because and that moved him.
Oh,
That moved
wow.
him 1 back, and then he had to birdie 18 to tie, and then he ended up parring, so wasn't able to get it done. But that ability to, like, I have found this. I think I may have even said this last year that my statistically. That was a fun way to say that. Statistically, I don't know why I added an extra syllable there, but if I go in through and look at my birdie holes, I'd say 75 to 8% of the time the next hole is a bogey, and it's to the point where I have noticed the pattern, and I'm in it, and I've noticed over and over again that if I birdie, I almost always follow it up with a bogey, and I think it's a fascinating thing for me. And what's more impressive is how often I see on the PGA where somebody bogeys and then birdies right back. Scotty's a good example. His
Are
bounce
you
back.
ready to
today was
understand
talking-
why?
Oh,
I
can't
the
wait to
smirk on
understand why.
Scott's face right now. He's waiting.
So I think bounce back is the single dumbest stat that's ever
Okay.
been created because it implies this guy's got guts and he's resilient and whatever. There's only 18 holes in golf. So every
Yeah.
hole's plus or minus, 5% of the entire round. By
Okay.
definition, the hole you birdie on average is one of the easier ones. So we've now taken one
Oh.
of those 5% off the board. The
Okay.
odds are the following hole is not a par 5, which is the majority of where your birdies are coming from. So the
Okay.
odds are it's a harder par 4 or a par 3. So you should have a higher bogey rate on those.
Interesting.
The flip
Okay.
side is when you bogey a hole, on average, the next hole probably
Is
it's
easier.
not much, but it's some percentage of a chance it's an easier hole.
Huh.
I
Okay.
think the vast majority of that stuff can be explained away just by that's just kind of the way the holes work.
Yeah.
It's like
Sure.
at Craig Ranch, everyone gives that golf course a hard time. I'm actually playing in the Pro-Am, the Monday Pro-Am here in a couple weeks. I can't wait to see the new course. But the old course, it takes like 24 under to win. And everyone's like, the course is stupid. I'm like, no, it's not. It's just zoysia grass for fairways and surrounds on the green, which is like chipping off of mats.
Mhm.
And then it
Oh.
has a 340 and a 360 yard par 4 that play perfectly with the wind to where like they're very gettable. And
Yep.
then it's got 4 reachable par 5s. They're not stupid par 5s. Like you still have to hit good shots. It's not like
But
it's just 5
that's
or
6
7
under,
iron
right?
birdie. You've got 6 holes on this golf course that aren't bad holes, but they're very scoreable.
Mm.
You
So
multiply
like
that
it's
by
just
4, that's 24. That's yeah.
yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
just wasn't a bad I always enjoyed it and I never even wanted to bother trying to argue with people about this one, like, it's not a bad course, it's just it's got 6 holes that are very scoreable,
Yeah.
and then after that, I mean, literally, the scores on the golf course are the 4 par 4s, like, if you go in relative to par, the
Yeah.
4 par 5s, those 2 par 4s, the downwind par 4s, the end of the wind par 4s, and the par 3s intermixed on the bottom there.
Wow.
That's exactly what it should be. I mean, like, so the holes that play shorter are I mean, it's just I would tell you that you're like, "I bogey 80% the next time." I'm like, "Well, what do you think your bogey rate is overall as a 9?"
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is it
Yeah.
just
Pretty
because
high.
half of our holes are bogeys, right?
Yeah,
So
I
That
mean
yes, that's entirely fair, and I'm probably just not being nice enough to myself, which is
It's
often
not that. I
what
mean,
happens on
you're
the golf
just
course.
looking at it
But
as like, I bogey more often after a birdie, and it's like, well, probably the hole was one of the harder holes on the course because it
Mhm.
probably followed a par 5 because that's probably what you birdied, again, on average.
yeah,
On average, most of your birdies probably come from par 5s because you average maybe 1 1/4 around. And
that's
so
yep.
yeah, those are probably par 5s, or for sure they're for sure the shortest par 4 or the longest or par 5s,
Yeah,
85% of your birdies. And then
yeah,
just something else where you happen to get lucky and stuff a 4 iron or make a long putt.
right.
And so again, on average, the next hole has a better chance of being a hard one. It's like if I've just got one deck of cards and I deal out an ace, odds are improved that the next one's not going to be an ace.
Mhm.
They're mutually exclusive events, but the odds are I just took one out. So out of 18 cards in the deck, I just probably took out one of the easier ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the odds that we went par 5 are slim. So
I have that course up by me, and it's awesome. It's one of my favorite. You get there, you look forward to it the whole round, and then you're like par 5, Here we go. Yeah.
the last 2 holes at the other course, the members course at PJ Frisco, it finishes par 5, and it's just the strangest thing
Hmm.
ever to me.
Yeah.
But
I had a course that finished par 3 near me, and I hated it. They closed and built some homes, but I was like, why are we ending on a par 3?
I've only played it like 2 or 3 courses that end on par 3s. Definitely that's a weird one.
Let's end at Augusta then. Who if you had to bet pretend money, because I know you can't bet real money, are you going lefty? Like, are you going Akshay? He's played really well. Are you?
I'm going
Because I know
Rory, 'cause
lefties
Rory
historically
and
do pretty
Bryson,
well.
again, I don't follow the live at all, so I have no clue if Bryson's playing good or not. But
Bryson has been playing well. Rahm has been playing well. Yeah.
Rom fades it, so I'm going with the righties that can draw it
Okay.
confidently. And then I'm going with I guess Akshay. I mean, when he won in San Antonio a couple years ago, his caddy is a decade guy, and
Hmm.
I was like, dude, you really got to talk this guy into the fact that he could contend this week. I mean, he's a lefty, hits it hard enough. Like this course is like you've got to set him up for potential success here. Like, and
Yeah.
I know he's coming in off a win, so but the lefties just have such an advantage there. It's just absolutely incredible because of 12, 13, and then the tee shots that you can fade it on.
Yeah.
I mean, the modern game, the harder you hit it, you typically fade it. And so
Yeah.
Rory and Bryson are total anomalies in that regard. But I'm so lame. Again, this is actually I was texting with Brandel earlier because Brandel on some podcast or some wrap up of the Anwar yesterday I guess it was actually an annual wrap up plus Masters preview, was kind of giving me a hard time without saying my name directly about, statisticians that have a background in poker will tell you to focus on your stop shot exclusively. And that just doesn't, I'm like, dude, you
No,
just
wait a
say
minute, wait a minute. It might not have been you.
That's right.
Feel free to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
say Fawcett thinks you need to hit stock shots, because I'm like, Bryan, I just sent him a text like, I just want to clear the air on this, because the one place he's like, you better have a high draw on your second shot on 11. I'm like, first of all, you don't. Everyone should be aiming basically at the right edge of the green. So it doesn't matter if I draw or fade it to there. So I don't even agree with that, first of all. But the dogmatic shot that I'm about is the driver. Like, the driver can only be worked one way. And I don't understand, and I actually quite literally mean this, how 100% of the right-handed field that fades driver doesn't have a 13.5-degree mini driver in the bag.
Hmm.
There's not a single par 5 out
Yeah.
there that you should be hitting 3-wood at. Not 13, not 15. 2, you don't need it at, and 8, the mini driver, if you a drawing mini driver running up and around the corner is absolutely perfect. So you 3-wood is a club that should never leave your bag. Well, and it's going to leave their bag on 2 and 5 and 10 and 13, but like a mini driver is so much easier to hit. That is, it's just one of those deals. I don't understand it, because you're going to hit it 30 plus yards longer than your 3-wood. You can move it back in your stance, which allows a player that fades it to draw it easier. It's a smaller head. Back
Yeah.
to Sasho. Sasho has shown that in physics, the further the center of mass is off the shaft, aka the larger the head is, the more that club just kind of wants to fade. It's not by much, but that's
Huh.
why I always thought that the guys like DJ with this strong grip that hit it hard, that they're just kind of holding it off in
Yeah.
order to hit that fade. It's like, no, that club wants to do that. And so once I've personally like even accepted that, like, my driver is so automatic right now, it's literally gotten to the point where it's comical. It is just dead down the exact center stripe, because the only thing I can do is one thing. And now I think about being a younger guy with actual strength and speed and whatever. And if you own and understand this principle, we're going to hit it on 2, 5, 10, 13. You can hit it on 14 is fine. You could hit it on 17 is fine. There's literally 4 to 6 tee shots you could hit mini driver on instead of dropping back to 3-wood, which that extra 30 yards would be at least 0.2 of a shot
Yep.
each time. I swear to God, I think that carrying a mini driver instead of a 3-wood is worth at least a full shot to 2 shots. I mean, just
And
by
that's
just
and that's
having,
every round,
yeah, I mean,
right?
it's
You're
just
not even saying over the course of 4 rounds. You're saying over the
I'm
course
just
of
saying,
1
dude,
round.
if I hit this thing 4 times, I'm gonna be gaining 0.2, a quarter of a shot
Mhm.
more than what
Yeah.
I would with a 3-wood. It's every single day.
Well, Scott, I got to ask you though, because maybe I'm hearing it from, I've been brainwashed by the announcers, but I keep hearing the narrative that Augusta is a second shot course. So like when I hear like picks about, yeah, I know Rory won last year, but Rory hit one of the worst wedges I've ever seen at the Masters in a long time at 13, right? That same final round. Did Bryson has some struggles with wedges? Like, is that true that you better be damn good with your wedges at Augusta? Or, I mean,
Well,
you seem to be
sure,
all
but
in
I
on,
also think that's just variance. I mean,
yeah.
all these guys are good with their wedges. I mean, again, this is watching DJ a couple years ago out here with, he's got Claude Harmon. They're set up with a TrackMan and a quad and a laser, and
Before or
DJ's
after he fell
cleaning
down
the
the
club
stairs.
face. Yeah, I mean, and DJ's cleaning the club face after everything. He's just got this station set up where he's just rolling around, looking at the quad number, looking at the TrackMan number. We've got our laser. Like, they know exactly what they're doing on every single shot. So yes, your wedges have to be dialed. But these guys they're all good with their wedges. It's not like one person sucks with them and is on tour. Like, you wouldn't stay out there.
Well, see, and that's what
It's
I mean.
just a little bit of variance. You
Okay.
got the right gust. I honestly think one of the big, I always jokingly say, like, winning requires luck.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is just having a good number a little more often than not.
Sure.
I
Mm.
played my practice round for the US Mid-Am qualifier last year, and I shot 64. And it was the easiest 8-under round I've ever played. And the guy that I was playing was like, dude, that was so simple. I was like, man, I had 18 straight. If you said you're going to be around 160, what's the exact number you want? It was there. I mean, it was for 18 straight shots. It was just a perfect setup. The next day, I reverted to the mean, and I had 0, and I shot 70 and qualified. But the one round, I don't feel like the one round was better than the other one. It was just every single number was perfect.
Wow.
I do think that a lot of, like, you just happen to get perfect numbers instead of half the time. I don't even know how often you get a perfect number. Maybe a third of the time, you
Yeah.
happen to get it 50% of the time. And now we're gonna stack luck on top of each other. I just happen to have a few more times that my number was good. On a driving range, if I've got my target, I should blanket it half left and half right. But in an 18 shot experiment, it's easily that it could be 6 to 12. And if that 6 to 12 the 12 just happens to be on the whole side, that's pretty lucky. I mean, there's
Mhm.
all these little pieces of variance and luck that go into winning. That's why winning is so hard on tour. Again, a 2% win rate on the PGA Tour is obviously winning once every 50 starts. They play about 25 events a year. Winning once every other year is the equivalent of me saying, pull out the ace of spades from a deck of cards and you doing it.
Hmm.
That's just luck.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
so if anyone has a 5% win rate, I mean, it's just off the charts insane how great of a career that is.
Yeah.
You know, you get guys like
Yeah.
Morikawa and Jordan that came out and had these 10% win rates through whatever number in their career.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're going to revert to the mean.
Yeah.
And if they just think that they're going to maintain this 10% win rate, neither of them hit it far enough to do that. To be one of these dominant year in, year out guys, you have to be above average in distance. Like, you're just not going to do it year in and year out.
Yeah.
And so guys like that, they've kind of got a limit or a governor on them. Whereas a guy like Sheffield, like, I don't know what his actual ball speed is, but he doesn't hit it short.
It's
Guy like him,
178,
even him,
something like that.
dude, you're running so hot, it's ridiculous. And the fact that it's going on now for 4 years or whatever it is completely insane. But Scotty is going to go through a down period. And if he doesn't, then it is true. He's one of the greatest players of all time. I mean,
Well, he's only won once this year in 5 starts. I mean, obviously his numbers are going down. So I think
he
we're
has
watching
20
it.
wins. He has 20 wins total. Tiger had 20 wins in a 40 period start in 2 years from the 99 Memorial to the 2001 Memorial. Tiger won 20 times in 40 starts. Scotty has 20 total.
It is.
I mean, when you start really
insane.
talking GOAT conversations, like the numbers are just completely
No, it's
insane.
absurd.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, and again, I love Scotty. I've known him since he was 15 years old, and the caricature is correct. He is that nice of a guy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the
That's
day,
amazing.
I mean, he's not going to maintain this pace.
Sure.
Right. Which is why I think all 3 of us picked him in our
No.
in our preseason.
At some
You
point
took
we
Brooks. I took
Yeah,
Scotty.
a couple of years ago when Tiger was still kind of the man. I don't know what year it would have been, but we had a Masters draft pool at my old course, and every single year, like, it was, you could take like, you had like $3,000 you could bid with.
Yeah.
And if everyone bid their full 3,000 on Tiger, then it came, how many shots are you going to give back to the field? And every single year I was like, I'll take Tiger and whatever the most is. Because he's going to be in the top 10. So I'm
that's
going to
awesome.
I'm going to get my money back, and if he wins, like, I'm going to do just fine here.
Amazing.
That never worked out. That's why I don't gamble.
All right. Well, Scott, we've kept you for almost an hour and a half. Thank you again for coming
Always.
on, just hanging out, being who you are. You can where do people find you other than Decade or your socials? Is there a, like, what's your home address?
3308.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're trying to grow up as a company. If you luckily or unluckily for me, if you Google my name, there's a guy that's an old home builder down in Florida who's currently serving time in federal prison named Scott Fawcett, who's glad I hit the scene because he's about 1,000 pages down in Googling at this point.
Yeah.
But at
That's
this
great.
point, I'm pretty hard not to find. I'll plug
Perfect.
something. If you use the code Decade Plus at decade.golf, you'll get 20% off the app and 3 free months. So
Amazing.
Very cool.
there you go.
Well, and I mean it for our listeners. Like, go follow Scott. Go follow Decade Golf on Instagram. I mean, you're basically your Monday morning quarterbacking the round every week. It's and then you can see Scott buy clubs from Second Swing Golf. It's a lot of fun.
That's
The
right.
funniest part is, literally, I've been talking about how bad I'm playing, and then all of a sudden I just posted 29.
Yeah.
Then the most golf gaudy thing ever was that the fact that it was on April Fool's Day. I mean, when I
Of course it
posted
was.
that,
Of course.
comment was, April Fool's. I
Yeah.
was like, I should have actually noted this is not an April Fool's joke, but
Turns out the
That's
clubs are
awesome.
non-conforming. You got to take them out.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly right.
Putter
That's
definitely
right.
wasn't conforming that day.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. You can find us at bogeyballsociety@gmail.com. You can email us if any questions, anything you've ever wanted to ask. That's really your best way to get us. And come find us at community at lifeattheturn.com. And did I get that right? No, community.lifeattheturn.com. We've got an awesome forum going on over there. Lots and lots of incredible discussions, including all about Decade. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna say one more time, go Scotty, because he's got to come back, and it's gonna happen this weekend.
People always ask me, who are you going with? I'm so lame. I would start at world number 1 and I go from there. There's a reason these rankings exist. I mean,
That's right.
They're the best at
Absolutely.
golf. I mean, the OWGR, and I don't want to get into the live debate, but start at number 1 and go from there. They
Right.
are good
Well,
golf.
Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
man,
fun.
we appreciate you.
All right, that was it. That was Scott Fawcett. That's repeat performance number 2. Man, he has a good time. All right, so hopefully you've got your Masters picks already settled. Hopefully this didn't throw too much of a wrench into your picks. Maybe gave you something to think about. One of those lefties coming over at Augusta. I don't know. Anyway, it's always great to see him. Super grateful for his time, and thank you so much for listening. And I gotta say, it means a lot that you guys are tuning in. And please hit us up on socials. Please come visit us. Community.lifeattheturn.com. It is an awesome community that we're building over there. And anyway, looking forward to see you. Talk to you soon. Bye.